there's a download CSV option. Okay, so I just clicked on that. And I got the Excel sheet. Okay, now let me go back to the Excel sheet. All right. Okay, so far we are okay. You know how I got the data, or any CSV file that you have, you can open. Okay, if you have the same file, you can just compare what to put where. If not, you can just use your own file. It's okay. All right. Now see, initially, when you download a CSV, so CSV is a comma separated value file. Okay. Initially, when you download a CSV, it doesn't look like this. Okay. So what you have to do is the CSV file you open, it opens in an Excel sheet. You open it, you go to data, and then there is an option here. I hope you're able to see on the top left corner. It says from text/CSV. When you click on it, it will convert your comma separated value file into a Excel sheet. Okay. So right now, MS Excel has become quite smart. It auto detects that it is a CSV and converts it into a Excel format. Okay. So even here, I'm getting a warning. Some features might be lost if you save this workbook in a CSV format. Preserve these features, save it in an Excel format. Okay. So anyway, I'm not going to save it. So don't show it. Okay, done. Now, let's maybe do a reminder of VLOOKUP or once. Can we do that? Can you tell me, do you remember the formula? Can you say yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? So, okay, then we'll come back to VLOOKUP maybe a little later. I'll teach you how to make a pivot table. Okay. Now, a pivot table. So basically, see, if I just put borders across it, I select the whole thing, go to home, and there's this option. Okay. I put all borders. This looks like a table now, right? So a pivot table is a table that you can customize. This is a fixed table. Whatever data is there, it's showing everything. Pivot table is something where you can customize a lot of things. Okay. Now, I need, let's say I select this entire data. So how do I select? I go to A1, Control Shift right and bottom, full thing is selected. Then go to insert. Okay, here after home, next tab, insert, and click on pivot table. When you click on it, the one dialog box will open up automatically. So it will highlight the selection and it will ask, where do you want your table? On the next worksheet or existing worksheet? You can click on next worksheet. It is auto selected and say okay. So something like this should open up. I hope you're able to see the screen where on the right, there is a table, it says pivot table fields. And on the left, there is a blank table. Are you able to see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Now, there are many options in this. A pivot table is very useful when you have to do some customization. Okay. So, for example, I say, I select and drag date and put it into columns. Okay. See. Can you see all the dates for which the data is there? All the dates have come up over here. I can remove it also. Let's say I put something else. I put what series is it in the rows? It is equity series. And I put the date in values. Or I can put the date in column. So I get different kind of customization. Now see, if I look at my initial table, my data, everything is there. There's a full khichdi happening over here, right? A full khichdi is happening over here. I don't want that. I want to see only the series and the date. So instead of hiding all these, make a pivot table and what you want, just put it over there. Okay. So let me make a quick example of what we had yesterday. Serial number, name, roll number, maths, English and science. Okay, so I say and 10. I'm putting random names here. And I need 2 more names. So let's say Deepa and we can say Raj. Okay. I am putting 101, 102, and let's just drag this. Okay. I put rand. I'm just creating a data. Okay. Okay, now suppose I am making a pivot table for this data. Okay, now I want to know who scored how much in maths. Does this give me an easier idea? So I just want to see student versus maths marks. Okay, or suppose I want to see student versus science marks. Now what happens if I put maths versus science? This doesn't make any sense. Correct? Does this make any sense? Are you with me or are you lost?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
You're there. Okay, good. Now, let's say I just want to modify this data a little bit. Okay. I say maths grade and English grade and science grade. Okay. Now, what was our criteria for grading? 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50, 40, 30, 20, and 10. And then we have E, D, C, B, A. Correct? Table array, if you remember. Now, let's put VLOOKUP equal to VLOOKUP maths score, comma, the table array, comma, 3, column number 3. So column index number 3 and true because it's an approximate match. Okay, we got a B grade here. Now let me quickly freeze it. You remember to put dollar. Otherwise, when I drag, the formula gets dragged, right? So we don't want that to happen. So I put a dollar here. Okay. Now let us just expand it. See, I very quickly got grades for all my subjects. Yes? Is the data populated? You understood
Yes,
how we
ma'am.
got the grades,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Same thing. You already did this yesterday. Now, let me select this entire table with the grades and insert a pivot table. Okay, I got a new pivot table. Now, I am going to say, let's put grade here. Let's put name here. Okay. And let's also put grades here and grades here and grade here. Okay. Can you tell if this makes some sense? Let's say for Deepa, let's checking for Deepa. How many grades does Deepa have? Which grade does Deepa have for what, according to this?
She has 1 grade for math science.
She has one B grade for maths,
Yeah, 1 C grade for science.
one C grade for science. No D and no E.
No.
Okay. Or let's make it a little simpler. So let's remove this from here. And let's just put here. Now we don't have the segregation. Now everybody has a grade. Okay. But what are the grades? We don't know. So let's put that here as well. Yes. This makes sense. In one shot, you are able to see who has which grade. Yeah, or we can do one more thing. We have the student's name. Somebody is trying to speak. We put the marks here. So if you have the marks here, then also it makes sense. See here, it's a pretty big sheet. Okay, like where did it go? Yes, this is a big sheet. Now, of course, in Excel, the beauty is that you have different ways of analyzing the data and looking at it. Okay. Now, let me put one parameter. Let me put hometown. Okay. So I say Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai. Give me one more city. Agra. Okay. And let's just repeat this. Now, again insert table. Okay. Now, I want to know city-wise who got which grade. Does this make, okay, just look at this table. Tell me, is it making any sense? Or are you able to understand something?
Can you do this again?
Yes. Okay. So I made a pivot table where I put, I took hometown and put it in the rows. Okay, so I got the hometowns here. I want to know students of each city got which grade each. Okay. So as for example, I'm checking for English subject, who got which grade. So column becomes grade. And the same thing, I drag and put it into the value section also. Okay. So if you look at this part where I'm moving my cursor, you have 4 options. You have filter, column, row, and value. So whatever you put in value is the thing for which you get the count. Then whatever you want a column, it becomes a column. Whatever you want a row, it becomes a row. It's a customizable table. That's it. Okay. And the values that fill in is up to you. What values you want to fill in. Now, if it is all text, if it is all alphabetics text, then you will not get values except for count. But if you have numerical data, you can do a lot more. You can get the average, you can get the sum, you can get the count. Okay. So I just put English grade division according to the hometown. So now in English subject, students have only gotten 3 grades, B, C, and D. Nobody with A, nobody with E. That's why here no A and E appears. Okay. Now, between B, C, and D, if you look at students from Agra students have gotten 1 B and 1 D. Yes. If you look at Chennai students, there are 2 and both of them have gotten C grade. If you look at Delhi students, there are 3 students. 2 have got C grade, 1 have got D grade. And if you look at Mumbai students, all 3, there are only 3 students, all 3 have gotten C grade. Okay. Now, suppose you replace the student and mark data with, let's say, a company's sales from different locations. Then it makes more sense, right? Of course, this is a hypothetical example. Nobody will check state-wise who's getting which grade. But if you're looking at a sales data, for example, you want to see a McDonald's franchisee from all the states of India, and you put a pivot table to see which state is getting how much revenue, then this will be much more useful. Or if you within a state, you want to see district-wise, which district is getting how much revenue, then this will be useful. Or you want to see products of McDonald's versus district-wise revenue, which product is getting highest revenue, then this will be more useful. You're getting the use of the pivot table?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Anybody else?
One more doubt.
Once more?
No, like one more doubt.
Yes,
is
please.
it possible we can put English grade, science grade, and maths grade together?
You can put. So let's do that. So I put value of, see, now what happens if I put similar data more than once, this table kind of becomes elongated. Okay. So I can help you in that problem. So we can do that thing. What we can do is I remove all the grades from here. Okay. I only have hometown data. Okay. And then what I do, I put English grade as a filter over here. Now, do you see on top there's a filter? Now I want to see who got B grade. It's like a filter. So now see, I can see B grade is one student from Agra, one from Chennai. It's a little more neater. Yes, can you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and there is one more option actually. Okay, on the top, click anywhere on your pivot table. On your top, you have home, insert, draw, page layout, all that. In the end, you have two more options. There is pivot table, analyze, and design. Can you see that? Are you getting a pivot table, analyze, and a design tab as well? When you click on the pivot table, then only it will appear. Did anybody get that?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So in that, there is an option under filter. It's called slicer. See, when I clicked on slicer, I get a pop-up like this. Are you able to see this pop-up? Lochana is not able to see.
Yes,
Lochana, I want you to click anywhere on your pivot table. So if you click out, it will not come. Click anywhere inside your pivot table. Then on top, you have file, home, insert, draw, page layout, formulas, data, review, view, help. Then after that, two more options will come temporarily. Only when you click inside the pivot table, those options will come. One is pivot table analyze, the other one is design. So when you click on pivot table analyze, it should look like this. It's on my screen right now. Okay. So you have active field, group, filter, and data, calculation tools, etc. Okay. So in filter, you have something called slicer. So if you click on slicer, so the same filters that you need in your pivot table, it all comes here. You have all the data fields from your table over here in your slicer as well. So let's say, for example, I click on maths grade as my slicer and say, okay, let's see what happens. Now see, it's like a filter only. When I click on D, my table data is changing. My pivot table data changes. When I click on B, it changes. When I click on A, it changes. And see, there is nobody who got C. So let me say all. I click on D, see how the data is changing. Are you able to see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, great. So till now, are things clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want me to repeat it? Or we can go back to that equity data and look at a few graphs.
Equity.
Equity? Okay. So the thing about Excel is, you will not learn it till you practice it. Okay. So you know how you all did maths in school. So you know how maths you will forget if you don't practice, right? It's the same with Excel because there are many formulas inside Excel. Okay, it's not humanly possible to memorize all formulas unless you've dedicated your life only to mastering Excel. Okay, so whatever is useful, whatever you learn, whatever you're learning, if you practice it in between, you will not forget. Otherwise, I can teach you the same thing next semester also, and you will learn it like it is brand new, because you'll forget if you don't use it. Okay, so pivot table is useful. You have to look at how you can use the data. Okay, see, you can make a simple table and also look at data if it is small data. But when you work for companies, when you work for as an analyst, let's say in the future, or you work in any profile, even if you work in HRM in the future, you will have to handle big data for the company. Okay, I'm not talking about the big data of business analytics. I'm talking about the data of a company, which is usually large. For example, let's say your student enrollment data in your admissions. When you fill admission forms, the data that comes to us maybe in Excel sheet, that itself is huge. There are like 15, 20 columns. A lot of data is there, right? It is not easy to just manually look at it. So we need pivot tables, we need conditional formatting, we need formulas to analyze, to make that data become simpler so that we can understand it, right? Okay, so let me close this and go to this sheet. Yes. All right. I have some very interesting data. Now let me tell you. Let me put this in the chat box. Where is the chat box? We are going to do trend. What is trend? If you're trying to speak, please just make sure that you are unmuted. What is trend? Anybody? It's a common English word. Yeah.
It's like how the market is going or how something is going. That's the trend.
Correct. How something is going, the movement. Okay. Now, did you do regression on Excel, or have you done regression in statistics? No? Okay. No worries. We are not going to do regression. But I will use something from regression. We'll do trend fit or fitness. Okay. Now what happens, especially in financial data or economic data, okay, which you will be using, which you will be studying, okay, any economic or financial data. So financial data is all economic data. You have to always see the trend. For example, if you're looking sales, okay, if you're looking at sales of, let's say, a pen, sales of a pen. Is the sales steady? Is the sale going upward? Is the sale going downward? Or is it going up and down cyclical? All of these are trends. It may be either maybe stagnant, it may be a linear upward motion, it may be linearly going down, or it may be cyclical, or it does not fit into a trend. Okay, simple. Always remember that all data will have certain kind of trend. Okay, now when you go into more advanced studies, maybe not at bachelor's level, maybe at master's level, you learn how to make trend forecasting and things like that. But we don't have to do all that. Now here I have some price data. Okay, there is a stock. That stock is Tata Steel. Okay, Tata Steel is a company. You know of Tata Steel? Have you heard Tata Steel? Yes, very famous. That's why I took this. Tata Steel's stock is there. Okay. Now, what is a stock, you learn later. For our understanding, think of it like a product only. Okay. Some people buy it, some people sell it. If there is buying and selling, that means price will be there. Now, this is not a perfect world. So price will never be the same. Okay. If demand is more, what happens to price?
Increases.
And if supply is more, what happens to price?
Decreases.
Correct. So based on demand and supply, this price will keep changing. Okay. Someday, let's say the page wants to buy. So what will happen to the price?
It will increase now.
Correct. And say Chinmay decides, I don't want to keep Tata Steel stocks with me anymore, and she decides to sell all the stocks that she has, then what will happen? Price will fall. Okay. So like this, there are thousands of people, not thousand, lakhs of people in the market who are buying and selling at every minute. So now also when market is going on, price will keep fluctuating. Okay. Now, the stock price moves very minutely. It changes every 30 seconds or a minute. Okay. So anyway, again, we don't have to bother with that. I have end of the day data. Okay. Daily, what was the opening price? What was the closing price? What is the highest price it went to? And what is the lowest price it came to? Okay. With this 4 data points, again, I'll put it here in the chat. Opening, closing, high, and low. If I have these 4 data points, I can make a very special kind of graph on Excel. It's called a candlestick graph. Okay, what is it called? Candlestick. Okay, you can remember that name. Let's see how to make that candlestick. Okay, now I already have my data over here. See, I have date. Let me make it a little bold for you. I already have the date and series, it is equity. I have opening, high, low, and close. Okay. I have my 4 data points over here. Now let's try to make a graph out of this. So I go to all charts. I go to the stock. I go to open, high, low, close. Okay. Open, high, low, closing. Okay. So I go here and I click on all charts, stock, this, and I say okay. Okay, very good. Can you see my chart is ready? Let me make it a little colorful. Not coming colorful. Okay, it's not coming as colorful. Right. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yes, I have one yes. Okay. This is called as a candlestick chart. This is known as a candlestick chart. Now, can you tell me what is the trend? Is it going up? Is it going down? What is happening?
It's increasing, decreasing, and then increasing.
Vaisha, can you speak up? You're little.
Ma'am, it's increasing. First it was increasing, then it went down a bit, and then again
So
increased.
first it is increasing, then it is decreasing, then it is again increasing. Okay. Let's see if I can do some formatting to it or make some changes to it. Okay. Let's click on this. Format plot area. Bars, legend. Okay. So that option is not here. Okay, no worries. So I'm just going to delete it, okay, for the time being. Now, for example, I just want to plot open and high. Let's just take 2. I'm taking the opening price and the highest value and making it into a graph again. Let's say I am making this into a scatter plot. Okay. See, I fixed a plot. Does this show any kind of trend? No? Little difficult to understand, right? So let's make it little easier. So add a trend line. Yes. Now, if you look at, can you see the dotted line here?
Yes, ma'am.
Uptrend. Yes. So it is going in an upward trend. Of course, this data got sorted. That is why it's going into an upward trend. But once I fit a line to it, then it is showing me how close it is to the line. So again, this is something that you can remember and use when you are going to study linear regression. Okay. Remember, you can use it when you're going to study. So probably in this semester or the next, you will have. Do you have business statistics this semester?
No, they
Okay,
don't have.
maybe next year you will have. So when you study statistics, you will have regression. Okay, and the first type of regression that you study is linear regression. So at that time, this will be something that will be very useful for you to understand. Because again, always remember, it is always easier to understand data that is in a graphical format, that is in a color-coded format, than looking at just numbers in an Excel sheet. Okay, always remember that. All right. Now let's look at a few more graphs that we can make with this data. Okay. Okay. First, let me go to insert. You tell me what all graphs do you know? You know a column chart, line chart, right? Pie chart. What do you need for pie chart? For pie chart, you need a 360-degree angle. Okay. So your data has to be out of a pie. So for a stock price, you cannot put a pie chart. Why? Stock prices are independent values. Today's stock price and tomorrow's stock price are not coming out of the same wallet. It is independent price. Okay. But if you are saying you want to plot your monthly expenditure, that can come in a pie because you will only spend the total income that you have. You cannot spend more than that. So your full pie is your income. So the different parts of the pie will be a monthly expenditure, each item, movies, food, clothing, shopping, different items, right? You can make a bar chart. You can make an area chart. Of course, you don't need an area chart at this level. It's a little bit advanced. So you don't need it right now. And while we are learning about charts, I'll give you a very useful website that you can use. I'll just put the link in your this thing. I'm just looking for the link. Just give me a second.
There's a question in the chat
There's a question
from Lochana. Ma'am, if you delete any row or column, will the graph?
Yes, it will automatically change. Yes. Yes, Lochana. So if you have a licensed version of MS Excel, and let me open this when I'm talking. If you have a licensed version of MS Excel and MS Word and MS PowerPoint. So the beautiful thing is, if you make a change in your Excel and you have copy pasted the same thing into your Word or PPT, what you change in Excel will also reflect in your Word and PPT. It is that well connected. Okay, that is of course if it is all three are from the same Microsoft account and they are all licensed version, right? So anyway, within an Excel sheet, if you delete or add a column, so if you delete it, it will automatically get deleted. If you add, sometimes you may have to just click on refresh once if it does not auto update, but it will update. You don't have to make the whole thing again. Okay, but if you copy this graph, let's say you make a graph in Excel and you copy paste it into your PowerPoint, which is usually where you would present your work, let's say, it will automatically update there as well. So you just have to have the same Microsoft account logged into both places. Okay, sir, I think I'm not able to find that link. When I find it, I will share it with you. You can send it to the class. It's actually a website that tells, it is for students to tell them which graph they can use for which type of data. It's very useful, you know, when they are studying. Anyway, I'll come back to this. And is there anything else that you want to learn? Because we have good 10 minutes. I don't want to teach anything more complicated, but I can show you one more graph. If it works, I can definitely show you. Are you able to see a maps over here on top? Are you able to see? Now, some Excel might not have that option. You may have to upgrade. Okay. Yes. So if you click on this, let's just try it out. Okay. Now, your data is not there. So let me delete it. Let's say I say India, Pakistan, China, USA, UK, and give me one more country, Russia. Okay, 100, 90, 76, 56, 23, and 10. This is random data. Okay, random data, random numbers that I was assigned. I select this entire data. One column I have country name, one column I have number. You can assume it to be population, for example. Okay, it's just an example. Then click on insert and go to maps. Click on the map. Do you see the globe has filled up? And
yes,
and can you see it colored up based on my data? Yes. So the higher number gets a darker color, the lower number gets a lighter color. Okay. Now this graph is very useful if you're working on international data. You want to say internationally country-wise literacy level, country-wise population density, country-wise happiness index. Recently, happiness index was released. So you put that data in numbers and country names. Now this is, again, it is powered by AI, where the country name that you're typing, it automatically detects the country. Okay, if you make some spelling mistakes, it may not work. Okay, if you make spelling mistakes in the country name, it will not work. So you have to be careful about that. And then you populate, see, it is coming up very nicely. So if you want to give an international representation of some data, you can get this. Now, some of you may not have this option again. Yes, Lakshya, I'll explain again. So some of you may not have this maps option in your insert chart area. So you just need to update your Excel, or you can download the latest version. Okay. And this option may not be there in Google Sheets. I have not checked it. I'll do it once again. So Lakshya, I just put some country names here. Okay. And I put some random values here. Okay. This is just an example. Okay. Let me put one more country. So I would say Thailand. And let me put it 200. Okay. Let me just see how the data works. Select the data, these two columns, this much data, select, go to insert. From insert, I have a globe. I have a globe sign, which says maps. Click on that. It says filled map. Click on it. And my graph automatically comes in. So if you can see, this is a very nicely filled in graph. See, the color and everything is coming in exactly correctly. So I put Thailand 200. So it's the darkest blue shade that has come. The highest value has come here. And if you also look at this, see, the series automatically says highest point is 200, lowest point is 10. You can change the color here. See, you have different options. Maybe blue. Okay, for some reason it's not changing over here. You can change it into black scale if you like a darker map. Okay. So those customization options are always there. You can change it to a gray scale. Okay, that is up to you. Ma'am, can we use different colors or only one color? So this graph does not give multicolor option for different countries. It will only show single color gradient change, because the purpose of this graph is to tell wherever the value is more, it will show a darker color, and wherever the value is less, it will show a lighter color. So that can only happen if you use a single color and increase the intensity. Okay. Okay. So I think, sir, that's it from my end. If anybody has
Good.
any doubts, please ask. Please, I may not be able to clear all your Excel doubts, but whatever we can look at them now itself.
Maybe can you type your email, ma'am, so that in case if there is any doubt
Yes,
for them,
sure. You
students make note of ma'am's email ID.
You can
Right.
reach me at my NSITG. So it is nimmy.jacob.phd21@nsut.ac.in. This is my work email. You can reach me on this. And there's a website link. I will just look for it and I will send it through Samsung to you. It's very useful for all students, not just now, maybe even 10 years from now, it will be very useful for you, because it has been compiled by industry experts for use of students and academicians. So I'll send that across. I think that's it, Samsung, from my end.
Okay,
I'll
so I've
just stop.
shared the email on the WhatsApp group for them. Yeah. Vishang, can you quickly unmute and give vote of thanks to ma'am? Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, for the great teaching.
Kirti Reddy, can you unmute and give vote of thanks? Kirti Reddy. Unmute. No? She can't unmute. Akshaya, can you quickly unmute?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell your experience of last 2 days, because ma'am has taken her time all the way from Delhi for you, an industry expert. So quickly tell your experience and give vote of thanks. Quick.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for teaching us all these things. I learned so much, like so many things from you from the last 2 days in this morning class. And I hope to learn more, but I guess you will be not available every day.
Email is available every time.
You can send your queries, and maybe in the future we can meet again.
We'll have one more session next month. Is it okay? So
Yes.
that we'll practice this again in the lab, maybe next month, because you can't boil the ocean, right? It's a big ocean. We'll do it little by little. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, children.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
And
everyone.
it's all live on YouTube. Anytime you want to listen to ma'am million times, put your headset and listen. All right, it's there already for you. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. You can leave now.
Thank you.
We'll
Bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.